The sound of Manchester.
And all the music you love.
BBC.
Radio Manchester.
So, I mentioned this before, and you may by now be well aware of the growing row surrounding the Harry Potter author JK Rowling. If you've picked up a copy of The Sun today or just seen the news, it led with an interview with a former partner, and the headline read, "I slapped JK and I'm not sorry." The newspaper said it had not intended to enable or glorify domestic abuse after facing backlash from charities. The author had been in the news earlier this week too, as critics accused her of being transphobic for her response to an article about people who menstruate. Well, she has said her personal experience of domestic abuse and sexual assault in previous interviews, and her concerns about protecting safe spaces for women were some reasons why she spoke about all the issues to begin with, in terms of the transgender issues, if you like. So there's two main stories at hand here, two big issues going on. I think we should start really with the story of the day, and this was the Sun's decision to interview JK Rowling's first husband and then use that as the front page spread today to show his side of the story, or, well, as he said, as the Sun says, it wasn't meant to enable or glorify him, but just to kind of show him for what he was. Jsky, what do you think about this and this decision?
Oh gosh, there's a lot to unpack there, because obviously JK Rowling has been saying a lot of offensive things that have been, as I've took it, an actual assault on the trans community, and for no apparent reason other than that she's feeling some kind of way about them. But in terms of what the Sun has done, I think it's funny because, well, it's not funny, but it's obviously a situation that we're in whereby people are accusing the Sun of glamorising someone that's done something bad. But in a sense, if we was to be devil's advocate, that's the job of the press. They want to get your attention. They'll sensationalise a headline to draw you in. And most stories are about something awful, whether it's murder, to terrorism, to anything. So domestic abuse is just another angle for them. Is it right what they've done? Personally, I disagree that they shouldn't have done this at all, because realistically thinking, they've gone out their way to pay someone who's done something bad to talk about it, and that doesn't sit right with me. But on the flip side, they've done it because JK Rowling is a hot topic, and the reason she's a hot topic is because she's been attacking the trans community.
It's a strange one, isn't it? I'll be honest, I was shocked when I read that this morning. I was like, what? Yeah.
It wasn't the right thing for them to do at all, but at the same time, the Sun have got what they want. Everyone is talking about this.
You're so right, Jsky. You're so right. We talked there about the transgender issues. Jsky, clearly you've really, really not happy with this week.
Well, the thing is, I don't understand why she's doing it, because trans people are so vulnerable in terms of the way the media portrays them, the way the media attacks them, and also how they're represented. So for someone who's in a position of privilege to then use that privilege to say that I'm going to attack this group of people because they threatened me as a woman, it screams of insecurity, and it's also unnecessary. And I know that she's had bad things happen to her, but even her own castmates like Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson and Eddie Redmayne, we've had to speak out in support and say, look, trans women are women. And like, I'm not trans myself, so it's not for me to speak on behalf of the trans community. But I do think that what she's doing isn't right.
It's strange. Just if you haven't heard this kind of like argument and the row that's broken out over this tweet, it's always a blooming tweet, isn't it? People just forget themselves. So on Saturday the 6th of June, JK Rowling quote tweeted an article with the title "Opinion: Creating a More Equal Post-COVID-19 World for People Who Menstruate." And Rowling took issue with the phrase in tweeting, "People who menstruate, I'm sure there used to be a word for these people. Someone help me out. Wumban, wimpud, woomud." So obviously getting at woman. So that's why the entire row broke out.
The thing is with JK Rowling, though, she's quite happy to take the money, isn't she?
What do you mean?
I mean, when everyone's buying Harry Potter and everyone's bigging her up, she doesn't mind, but the second that she's a bit bored, she goes to the trans people and she should leave them alone.
Is she going for the trans people, though? Is she?
It feels very much like an attack on them because her issue is that sex and gender is something that is rigid, and in actual reality now we're learning through science and through other people's experience that gender and sex can often be quite fluid, and it's different for everyone. There's not a one-size-fits-all situation here, and she's trying to apply the logic of her reality to everyone in the world, when in actual fact, how can we know what's going on in someone else's life? I mean, what's it actually got to do with her?